Hashima Island, Japan, the City of Shadows. There is an island off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan, that once looked like a crowded city. Thousands of people lived there. There were apartments, schools, shops, a hospital, even a cinema. Then, in 1974, the coal mine closed, the people left, and Hashima Island became silent. Today, it is better known as Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island, because its concrete walls make it look like a giant warship floating in the sea. But according to a local haunting legend, something else remained behind, something that never left. It was just after sunset when Kenji stepped onto Hashima Island with a small group of visitors. The guide had warned them, "Stay on the marked path. Do not enter the abandoned buildings." The reason was simple. The old structures were damaged and dangerous, but Kenji couldn't stop looking at them. Tall concrete apartment blocks stood in the darkness. Broken windows stared toward the sea. There were no voices, no traffic, no children, only the sound of waves hitting the walls. Then Kenji heard something. Tap. He turned around. Nothing. Tap, tap. It sounded like someone knocking from inside one of the abandoned buildings. Kenji looked at the guide. "Did you hear that?" The guide's expression changed. No. They continued walking, but Kenji kept hearing it. Tap, tap, tap. Then, suddenly, 3 knocks. The guide stopped. For several seconds, nobody moved. "Everyone stay together," he said, quietly. They walked faster. A few minutes later, Kenji noticed something strange. One of the windows in an abandoned apartment building was glowing, a faint yellow light. He pointed toward it. "There's someone inside." The guide immediately shook his head. "That building has no electricity." The light disappeared. Kenji looked again. Nothing. The group continued toward the exit, but as they reached the gate, Kenji realized something. His phone was missing. He checked his pockets. Nothing. "I must have dropped it," he said. The guide told him they would look for it later, but Kenji remembered exactly where he had last used it, near the abandoned building. Against the guide's instructions, he walked back. The island was becoming darker. He found his phone lying on the ground. The screen was still on. There was a new recording. Kenji didn't remember making it. He pressed play. At first, there was only wind. Then, footsteps. Slow footsteps. Someone walking behind the person holding the phone. Then came a quiet voice. "Don't leave." Kenji froze. He turned around. The path was empty. He started walking back. Then he heard footsteps again, behind him. One step, then another. He ran. When he finally reached the group, the guide looked at him and asked, "Did you hear it?" Kenji stared at him. "Hear what?" The guide didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked toward the abandoned buildings. Then he said, "Sometimes visitors hear footsteps." Kenji showed him the recording. The guide listened. His face became pale. "Delete it." "Why?" "Just delete it." Kenji refused. The guide finally whispered, "There are stories about people hearing voices on this island, old voices, people who supposedly never accepted that the city was abandoned." Kenji looked back toward the buildings. In one of the windows, he saw a figure, a human-shaped shadow, standing completely still, watching them. Kenji blinked. The figure was gone. The boat arrived a few minutes later. Everyone climbed aboard. As Hashima slowly disappeared into the darkness, Kenji looked at his phone one last time. The recording had changed. The original audio was gone. There was only one sentence left. "You forgot someone." Kenji looked toward the island. For a moment, he thought he could see someone standing on the old pier, a dark figure watching the boat leave. Then the waves rose between them, and the figure disappeared. Was it really a ghost? There is no scientific evidence proving that Hashima Island is haunted, but the island is real, its abandoned buildings are real, its history is real, and its silence is real. Perhaps that's what makes Hashima so frightening, because sometimes you don't need to see a ghost to feel that something is watching you. Sometimes an abandoned city is frightening simply because you know that thousands of people once called it home, and now nobody does. What do you think? If you were standing on Hashima Island at midnight and heard 3 knocks from an abandoned building, would you investigate or run? Comment your answer. Subscribe and follow for more real places, dark legends, and unexplained stories from around the world.